This is Our Conversation, our Carmichael Studios. This afternoon we have Ronaldo Cartwright from
Marijuana, Bahamas.
A pleasure to have you on our show. And you want to talk about decriminalization of marijuana?
Yes, we want to talk about decriminalization of marijuana. We started this back in December of 2016. And what it is, we actually advocate for the education and the eventually legalization of marijuana. And we understand that it's going to be hard. It's going to be a very big hurdle and some big steps, especially in the Bahamas. But we firstly want to decriminalize, then search and figure out, hey, is this beneficial to the country once we decriminalize? Then the medical aspect, the industrial aspect, the more money saving, and then lastly, the recreational. What marijuana is known to the public now. We are not a part of any type of illegal activity. We're about supporting the education, what the health benefits are of this plant, and how do we move this forward in the country.
You think after the decriminalization is done, how do you think it'll affect crime?
So that's a good question, right? So what I tell people, right? Decriminalization is not where you can just go smoke a joint whenever you want and everything is fine. No, there's different forms of decriminalization. So what we'll have to look at is how much is an acceptable amount to have on you. Okay. Is it one joint? Is it two? Is it 2 grams? How much ever? So in Jamaica right now, I did some research. In February 2015, Jamaica legislature voted to amend the nation's cannabis laws. Possession up to 2 ounces is a petty offense and will not result in criminal record. Cultivation of 5 or fewer plants is permitted. Practicing of Rastafarianism faith use cannabis for religious purposes. And this is where the Bahamas actually could really reap a lot of benefits. Tourists with a prescription for medical marijuana may apply for permits to purchase small amounts in the country. And then the amendment opened to the possibility of licensing authority to deal with the cultivation and distribution of medical marijuana. So when you talk about decriminalization, we have to look at the same approach that these other countries looked at. How much is an acceptable amount to have if we are going to allow people to grow it, smoke it, for the medical benefits? So we need government regulation in this. So with this, the government can make a lot of money because they can pass regulations and you could apply for permits.
So once the policies are put in place, the persons get bought on permit. So if you have, you have your permit will say how much you could have on you at that point in time. Anything over that, then you pay a fine of how much you have for blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, so if you get catch with, let's say 2 grams is the acceptable amount, right? You get catch with 5 grams, you get a little, like a ticket almost, to say you get a $100 fine, $50 fine, how much ever they feel.
And that's how the government would make money off persons who are, trying to bend the law by saying, you know what, they ain't gonna check me, they ain't gonna catch me. But if you get caught with it, you pay a fine, say $1,000. It have to make sense because persons tend to want to break the law.
The government should look more into not making money from people doing crimes, but how much money they can save from the criminal aspect of it. Right now, we spend a lot of money enforcing marijuana drug laws. So now,
sending persons to jail for a petty joint or.
And then that's it's more even aspects there. You just ain't sending them to jail. Number one, you have to pay the police. That's number one. They have to have cars. That's number 2. So they need equipment. They need the police. They need jurors. They need a judge. They need a place to hold them judges. So all this is time and money. All this time and money we spend millions of dollars hearing little petty marijuana crimes and people getting locked up. Their whole record is ruined. They can't travel. You know what I mean?
Can't get a police record. Can't get a job because of the whole chain. Yeah, we spoke about that. So what you're saying is, so after we looking to getting the decriminalization of it, then we look at different ways of, I guess, for persons who get caught, rather than send them to prison, you could send them to do community service, or they can work off their fine like how they do it in the U.S. When they give you the choice.
Yeah.
Rather than when you get a traffic ticket, they give you the choice. You can either go to traffic school, or you pay the fine.
Yeah, and that would actually be good in an aspect I would look for. Because at first I was thinking, it's like, because I all about the legalization of marijuana. So I was like, man, I still don't want them lock people up. Or let's say to punish people for like a minimum amount. But when I say, you know what I think would be good? If they would send them to almost a class to educate them. Because I think where we are, the country, we are slow in education about marijuana and just about drugs on the whole. If a doctor gives us drugs, we just can take it. We ain't looking up the side effects and none like that. So we can get classes done and be like, hey, this is what an acceptable amount of marijuana is. This is what could help it for, like, what is its good purpose, what is the health benefits, and what is it actually the negative side of it, because you can abuse anything. So maybe they need to see, like, they're not really abusing, the problem isn't marijuana, but maybe it's a internal problem what isn't marijuana, and they're using marijuana as a, how to say, as a way to deal with the problem, almost like alcohol. You have people who indulge in alcohol have no problem with alcohol, but then you have alcoholics who have a problem with alcohol, but it isn't the substance, but it's the internal.
Yeah, so it's different effects.
Yeah, what they do with.
So I hear you talking about, you keep saying about educating persons.
Yeah.
How is your organization educating persons about, telling persons about the moving forward and then educating them about
how we move forward.
Yeah.
Oh, so okay. So right now we have a Facebook page. We post a lot of different things on the Facebook page. We post some funny stuff, but we also have make sure like every day we post something educational. Marijuana is one of the strongest, is the strongest textile product in nature. It actually has like a high resistance to rot. In World War II, marijuana was illegal in the United States. When the Philippines was captured by the Japanese, they actually had a promotion says hemp wins victories. If you look it up, you could research that online. You can take my word for that. Research it. And they actually produced hemp in the United States for the Navy because it was the strongest natural form where they can make rope, because it is very resistant to rot, and the salt water, rots everything. So that's how good the cloth is. It's a softer cloth. Like before cotton actually took over hemp back in the 1920s, because it was a little rough. If you see the slave clothes, they used to make the slave clothes out of hemp. And that's before they had the manufacturing capability to break down, because it's so strong. The hemp material is so strong, it was harder to break down. So when cotton came about, they said, the cotton industry actually pushed for the criminalization of marijuana, because it's like, hey, we don't need them no more. Let's push them out of this market. When time come now, when the technology got better and they found out better ways to break down the hemp into a more softer fabric. So now that they have the technology to do it, they found out that hemp is actually a softer fabric and better for your skin. When you actually wear the hemp, you have no type of side effects on your skin. People who have sensitive skins and stuff like that, the hemp clothing is a way better texture and material to use. In building materials, so you need rope for building. So you're looking at building materials and stuff like that. You're looking at a lot of aspects where, let's say, the medical side of it. People just think about, hey, we can, let's say, eat it and that can heal us. No, the CBD content, you have this thing called CBD inside marijuana, and that is one of the key substances inside the cannabis, which they found to produce a lot of the healing capabilities, which they already researched today. There's a lot more to be found, but that's the number one thing that they found inside the hemp that actually does a lot of healing.
Now, is it a particular kind of, because I know there's so many different variation strains of that actual plant.
Yes, it is.
Again with the education, where can persons, well, I guess, come to find out the differences of the different plants and all that stuff? Does your organization provide the information? Because a lot of persons, I've heard someone say the other day, there was a program that they had on, and they were showing the different plants, and they're saying different plants have different effects, and the different effects of the different strains. Some are stronger, some are better for as a sedative, some are better as different things.
All right, yeah, that's true. You're doing your research.
No, they just they really do have a lot of program out there, because ever since a lot of the U.S. states and stuff been doing the decriminalization and making it legal. They have the shops and stuff. They were doing education and showing the different persons. You walk inside the shop, they'd say, okay, well, this plant has this effect. This plant has that effect. Even down to the edibles, they have what they call the marijuana or the hemp balls.
Yeah.
They make the hemp balls mix it with honey and natural seeds
Yeah,
and
they
all the different
taste
stuff.
dead good. I sampled them in the States before.
But there are different forms of the consumable.
Yes, they are. So just like you say, they have different strains. You have sativa. You have a lot. There's more than 300 strains of marijuana plants. So I'll be here all day naming and say. And just like you said, different ones have different effects on the body. Some of them have a more just a high effect where you want to be more high and relaxed and things, and then you have more ones to get you more focused. You have ones better for different treatments where they are found inside the medical benefits of it. And talking about the States, actually in Colorado, when I was doing some research, they found out that in 10 months, you had $1.1 billion in tax revenue. That ain't even in sales. That's tax revenue that was going to the actual country to benefit other things, building things like school, building things like roads, because God knows we need some better roads because we have traffic and potholes like crazy. So if we could just tap into that market, and even if it don't be 1.1 billion, if you say, yeah, Colorado is a big state, let's say half of it we get, but we have tourists too. So you have to look at that too. The number one question we get asked is by tourists asking us where to find the marijuana. And as a legal organization, we don't practice anything legal, so we can't actually tell them where to find marijuana. We have to say, hey, marijuana is illegal in the Bahamas. You understand? If you ask around, be sure you could find it. That's because we ask our lawyer, we that's the only thing we could tell the tourists, because we can't say, hey, or go down to this place or go down to that place, because that'd be illegal. We'd be informing if we know where to find marijuana from, the police could lock us up. So we just say we trying to do this stuff the right way, trying to even reach out to different persons like the church and politicians and doctors, lawyers, teachers, persons who have to deal with situations having to deal with marijuana, drugs, or the downside of it being illegal. We wanna ask for you guys' support to ask how best and the things that you go through every day, and how best that we can push this movement. We need everybody on board on this. We need expertise from a lot of different areas, every area in the Bahamas.
So you're basically asking for society to jump on board with you and help support you.
Yes.
More or less.
Yes, I'm asking for
social support.
So
once again, how can persons find you?
Well, they can message on Facebook, Marijuana Bahamas. I've been looking, if anybody have a bigger marijuana advocacy group, let me know, because I can try to beat that, because we to my knowledge, we have the biggest. Marijuana Bahamas, Instagram, Facebook, we on Snapchat. We have a email, marijuanabahamas@gmail.com. We in the process of creating a website where we could have all the educational, anything what you need to back your studies and say, hey, what is the benefit? So we on the progress of that. That should be up before I'd say next 2 months. So we still working on making sure that can be proper. So hit me up. We reply typically in a couple minutes.
I'm sure you've gotten some information from Mr. Cartwright here. Moving forward, hey, just hit him up, send your questions, and try to be a part of if you want to support his organization, find him. He's left his contacts. And, thank you again for coming on the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you. This has been a very great pleasure talking to you.
Pleasure is ours. Yes, this is Jason, a.k.a. Ming. Our conversation, Carmichael Studios. Thank you.